As tensions explode between the United States and Europe over the future of Greenland, Moscow is seizing the moment to mock what it calls a visibly fraying Western alliance. On January 18th, Dmitry Medvedev said today's global events are proving that his earlier forecasts from 2022 through 2024 are, in his words, coming true. The veteran Russian official remarked that current headlines sound almost identical to the absurd predictions he made several years ago that were once dismissed as impossible. In his online post, Medvedev cited the situation in Greenland, emerging rifts inside NATO, Ukraine's uncertain future, and Moldova's political survival as proof points for his argument. Dmitry Medvedev said, and I quote, 1. The US is preparing to attack Greenland, choosing possession of the island over Atlantic solidarity. Any impertinent Europeans will be punished with tariffs for NATO protection. 2. French officials have announced they are leaving NATO. 3. Tymoshenko said Ukraine has a fascist regime, and that the country won't last more than 5 years. 4. The President and Prime Minister of Moldova have spoken in favor of dissolving their own country. 5. Trump will soon announce contact with aliens. At first, I thought these were just absurd predictions, like the ones I made in 2022 to 2024. Unquote. The White House has effectively opened an economic war against some of its own closest allies, using Greenland's strategic question as the trigger. Across Greenland and Denmark, thousands of protesters have taken to the streets to denounce President Trump's aggressive trade and territorial demands. European nations quickly came under Washington's scrutiny after several of them sent troops to Greenland as a preventive measure in response to American actions. Within just 24 hours, tensions spiraled dramatically. President Trump declared a full-fledged trade war over Greenland. 10% tariffs are set to begin on February 1st against 8 NATO states. Trump has warned the tariffs will rise to 25% by June if Europe continues to refuse a sale of Greenland. The targeted countries include Denmark, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and the Netherlands. Europe responded with unified outrage, calling President Trump's move both wrong and unacceptable. Several EU leaders described the action as blatant blackmail. French President Emmanuel Macron stated firmly, "We will not be swayed." Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni added, "Imposing new sanctions today would be a mistake." Sweden's Ulf Kristersson insisted, "We will not be blackmailed." European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen warned of a dangerous downward spiral. While European Union's top diplomat Kaja Kallas warned that China and Russia are having a field day. Finland's Prime Minister said simply, "Tariffs don't serve anyone." In response to Trump's tariff threats, the European Union has called an emergency meeting in Brussels to coordinate its next steps. Earlier this week, officials from Denmark and Greenland held intensive talks with their American counterparts in Washington, D.C., to address escalating tensions. The Danish delegation strongly pushed back against what they called a false narrative alleging the presence of Russian and Chinese warships in Greenlandic waters. Denmark's intelligence agency stated categorically that no Chinese military vessels have been detected anywhere near Greenland for at least the past decade. Despite these assurances, President Trump continues to insist that Greenland faces an imminent takeover threat by either Russia or China. Notably, officials from both the Russian and Chinese foreign ministries have publicly rejected and ridiculed Trump's accusations, calling them entirely unfounded.